We're going to start seated today. So we start in a seated position. Move stuff away from you so you have your space. Okay, who have I got? Jan and Mel and Belinda and Christine. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my yoga club, Tuesday morning yoga. So if we start in a comfortable cross-legged position, and your legs can be sort of out here somewhere with them crossed, or just open slightly like so if that's more comfortable. It doesn't have to be sat in a perfect lotus position. I've never been one for lotus. Okay, let us sit up nice and tall. You can take the fleshy part of your butt away from you, sitting up tall. Take the hands to your knees. Just allow your shoulders to relax, and you're going to breathe through your nose, closing your eyes if you wish. And just keep breathing in and out through the nose. And we'll settle ourselves onto the mat. Let's just tuck the chin and look down towards the mat. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. And then lift the chin, looking to the ceiling. Taking the head down to one side and just bringing the arm beside you, the opposite arm to which way you're leaning. Move your fingertips away. And we'll come to the other side. Coming back to the center and lift up your shoulders, really shrug them up and then just let them fall. So shrug them up, don't drag them down, just shrug them up and then relax and they'll fall back down. Shrug them up and relax them down. Taking the opposite hand to the knee, we'll rotate to one side. And then we'll come forward and round towards nose, towards knee. Sitting up again and cross your legs the other way round. You're rotating to the other side. And then come back and rotate nose down towards knee. Bring yourself back up to sitting and just take the legs out wide. They don't have to be very wide to begin with. fleshy part of your butt is coming away from you. Or just sit with the legs out wide. You can have your hands in the middle or beside you to support, and then let the feet flop in, and then we'll take them out wide. Let them flop in, and we'll take them out wide. Flop in, and take them out wide. I keep doing that, letting the feet flop in, and then taking the toes as wide as you can, and then flop in as wide as you can. And come back into a seated position, and then bring the fingertips forward, reaching as far as is comfortable. Try to sit up or just stay here. And then we'll come onto our mat, onto hands and knees. You can pad out your knees with something. Okay, so we're going to rock backwards and forward. Knees are hip width apart. Then you come back as far as comfortable for you. You don't have to go all the way back to your heels. Oh, I've got Kim as well. Hello Kim, good morning. I'll do a few more. And then take the knees wide and the toes together, and you're rocking back again. And this might be easy for some of you might find it a bit more challenging. So just go slow, notice if it's comfortable or not. And then I have the knees together and the ankles wide. And I'm not a fan of this one, so I'm only going to go a little way, but you go as far back as is comfortable. It's quite tight through the hips and the knees on this, so don't push it if it's uncomfortable. Maybe just go back to the box position and move backwards and forwards. And then come back onto hands and knees. We're going to rotate the palms now. So it's like your hands are up and you're rotating the thumb away from you so that your wrists are to the short side of the mat. Some of you might find it easy, other of you might have just your hands a little bit way round. As long as you can feel a stretch onto the inner arm, from the wrist to the elbow. Just stay here for a moment. And then we'll remove one and just relax the hand. And we'll remove the other and release the hand. I'm back now into extended child pose, and walk the fingers towards the top of the mat, forehead towards the mat. Puppy pose is your alternative with your hips high, or any way that is comfortable for you. You can even stack your hands into a pillow. Just allow yourself to breathe in this pose. It should be restful. Coming up onto hands and knees. And we're lifting up a leg behind us. Try to get it that your hips are even and you're flexing your foot. And we'll just tap the toe down to the mat and lift it up. And tap it to the mat and lift it up. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Do a few more of these, tapping and lift. So you're squeezing the bum. And then we'll bring it back in, come to the other side. Flexing the foot. I'm going to tap and lift. Tap and lift. tap and lift. Last couple. Last one, and bring that knee back in. Come to the other side. We're going to take the leg right the way forward between the hands. Let's rock backwards and forwards. And then we'll extend the front leg and we'll round nose towards knee. Don't forget to breathe. We'll come forward and lift up into crescent moon. Remember, you can always hold on to a thigh if it's a bit wobbly. Take the hands to the mat and let's come to the other side. Bring that foot forward. Going to rock backwards and forwards. We're extending that front leg backwards and forwards. We'll extend the leg and we're rounding nose towards knee. Take that knee forward and lift up into crescent moon. Remember, you can always hold onto your thigh if you need to. Don't forget to breathe. Take the hands to the mat and step back onto hands and knees. Into your cat-cow now, arching the back and extending to cow. Arching to cat and extend to cow. Keep moving. Do a few more arching and extending. Then we're going to move the hands one space forward and slide your your shoulders forward over your elbows, so you're now into a kneeling plank. You should really feel that through the belly. Extend through the crown of the head, pushing up from the floor, and breathe. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, all you're going to do is tuck your toes and lift the knees off the mat. Otherwise, stay in your kneeling plank. We're just going to place the knees back down and rest. Come back into puppy pose. Keep the hips high. And then we'll move forward again into kneeling plank. If you want to make it more challenging, tuck the toes, lift the knees off the mat. You're going to breathe. And then place the knees back to the mat. Come back into extended child pose and rest. Back up onto hands and knees in a box. Okay, lifting a knee. We're going to take the knee to the same elbow and then extend the leg. Then it's going to come underneath you, a little tiny crunch and twist to the opposite elbow and extend. So you're going to come to the same and extend, and opposite and extend, same, extend, opposite, extend. Keep going, same, extend, opposite, extend, same, extend, Do a couple more, opposite, same, and then place that knee down. Come to the other side. So that knee's lifting up, same elbow as knee, and extend. Then opposite, a little tiny crunch. Extend, same, extend. Opposite, keep crunching. Same, extend. Opposite, extend. Same, extend. Opposite, extend. Keep going. Same. Take that knee to the mat and then into cat-cow. Linger for a bit into your cat. Take a breath and then dip the belly into cow and extend. I do arch again into cat and then into cow and extend. Let's tuck our toes. Make sure that your wrists are below your shoulders now. We're tucking the toes into our bear pose. You're taking the knees just off the floor. You should really feel that in your belly. Breathe here and then place the knees down. You're going to tuck the toes, take the knees off the mat just a little way. We're only going to do a few of these. You want to really feel that in the base of your belly and then place it down. This time we're going to lift all the way up, but we're going to hover first into a bear pose. You're hovering here and then you're going to continue to lift up, stay on your toes, butt towards the ceiling, into down face dog, and then walking through the heels. Just let the heels walk. Keep moving, and then we'll walk our hands to our feet. Bend the knees so the chest meets the thighs and let the head hang. Walking the hands out now, go all the way to the end of the mat. And then we'll walk our feet to meet our hands. Stay in your fold, let your head hang. Let's walk our feet all the way back to the end of the mat. And then walk the hands to the feet. And let the head hang. And then we'll roll all the way up, very slowly to standing. Take yourself wide on your mat, and your feet out wide, toes facing out. Have your palms facing out, crown the head towards the ceiling. You can stay here with your eyes closed just for a moment. Really want to plant those feet, maybe wriggle the toes, notice them. Let's take our knee and bend it to one side. I just stay here. Make sure you're planting through your heels and then come down to the other side. You can take your hands to your hips and come to the other side. Just moving, getting some movement in the knees, moving from side to side now. Coming back to center. Rotate the palms, come all the way up and down into goddess pose. Palms together. We can stay here. Let's lift up, palms are open, horse stance. Lifting up, goddess pose. Last one, lifting up into horse stance. We'll just stay here. lifting up, heel toe in just a little bit, and then come down into a squat, either all the way to the floor or in a low squat where you've got your, a high squat if you've got your elbows to your knees. And we'll lift all the way up, rotate the palms and come back to center. Bring your feet all the way together now. So the sides of your feet are touching, palms are together. Crown of the head is towards the ceiling. You want to feel like your weight is going back through your heels, your rib cage is coming backwards into mountain pose. You can close your eyes here. Maybe you notice if you're swaying. Have the palms out. Continue standing in your mountain pose. And then we're coming into a side bend. Back to the other side. Come back to the first side. And the last one. Back to center. Keeping the legs together, squeezing the thighs. We're sitting back into a chair pose. You really want to sit back so you can feel your heels squeeze through your thighs, pull through the belly and extend the arms. Breathing. And then we're going to rise. Let's come back into our chair pose. See if you can get a little bit lower this time. Breathe. Take the opposite arm over and rotate our chair. Coming back to center. And we'll rotate the other way. Keep breathing. We're coming back to center. Stay there just a little bit more and then extend all the way up and take the legs wide. So this is where you can use your sofa if you want to just lean onto the back. We're taking the feet wide, turning the toes into a flat back. You can rest on your sofa, or if you're flexible enough, you can come down to the mat. You're going to push up so you're in a flat back. So even if you're on your fingertips, crown of the head's coming away, you're going to push back through the heels. And breathe. And then rotate and extend towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. Take that hand back down to the mat. Push back through the heels. Hinging from the hips, so you might come a little bit lower. And then we'll rotate to the other side. Extend the top arm to the ceiling. Come back down to the mat. Hinge a little bit deeper this time if you can. Remember, you can use your sofa with your elbows on. And then we're going to heel toe in. And come down into a squat or a high squat, elbows to the inside of the knees, palms together. So if you have a low stool or a low sofa, you can always sit on to the edge of that, and that will help you with your squats. So for instance, I've got my sofa behind me, I can be like this. Ideally, I would be on something a little bit lower so that my knees were higher than my hips. So I was kind of getting to this sort of position, but this is good enough. So if you want to use your sofa for the next bit, you can, or a stool that's a bit lower, then please do that. Otherwise, you're coming with me on the floor like so. We're going to lift up very slowly and then into our star pose. So you can do this from the sofa. Try not to rely on the sofa. So if you're sitting on the edge of the sofa, don't slouch into your sofa. It is literally, you're on the edge. You can plant through the feet and then you're going to lift up to the other side. So let's come back down to our squats and lift up, star pose. We're going to come down to a squat and lift up to the other side. Come down to a squat and up to the other side. Oh, I'm wobbly today. Come back down. Last one, we're going to lift up into star pose. And then come to the top of your mat. Stepping out into warrior, warrior two. Relaxing the shoulders. We'll straighten the front leg into sun warrior. Back into warrior two. Coming up into sun warrior. Straight front leg, sun warrior. Back into warrior two. Sun warrior. And then warrior two. Then a sun warrior. And then back into warrior two. This time straighten that front leg and reach as far as you can. Keep reaching as if you're trying to get hold of the wall. And then the arm comes in front of your thigh and you're extending to the ceiling into triangle pose. Try to pull in through the belly. You want to be holding yourself in this position rather than slouching down into it. Don't neglect your neck. Breathe. We're going to bend that front knee and lift into our warrior two. Let's straighten that leg and come to the other side. So turn to face the opposite direction, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, straight leg, sun warrior. And then back into warrior two. Don't forget to breathe, keep the shoulders relaxed, the body is central. Rotate the palm into sun warrior. Back into warrior two. Return, sun warrior. And then keep that front leg straight. We're going to extend as far as you can. As if you're trying to hold on to the wall that's as far away. Bring that arm in front of your leg. Try not to slouch at this point. You're really going to extend through the crown, pulling in through the belly, and the top arm floats up into triangle pose. Breathe. Bending that front leg and then bring yourself back into your warrior two. Keep breathing. Taking your legs straight and then we're heel toe in and come down into a squat. I've killed you with the squats today, I know. This is the last one, I promise. Let's come down onto your mat and extend the legs out in front of you. Fleshy part of the butt comes away. So let's just sit here for a moment in staff pose, seated staff pose. You're flexing your foot so you can feel your front of your knees pulling up. Now, if you're hypermobile, sometimes that really is painful. So, don't overextend if it really hurts. So maybe just have a little tiny bend in your knee. But if you can pull up through the knees and push the heels away so you can feel your thighs activate, then that's great. Taking the hands beside you, sitting up nice and tall. And we'll breathe. We'll bring a heel to the groin, letting the knee fall out. So you're in a seated tree pose. Hinging from the hips, we're going to come forward towards that toe. So you can hold anywhere along the leg. Try to sit up tall, and then we're moving from the hips, moving yourself a little bit forward. We'll sit up tall. So we've been doing a lot of hand to big toe. So this time we're going to revolve that, taking the opposite arm to the leg and over the top of the leg so that you're rotating to the other side. Breathe. You're going to move forward if you can, hold on to the foot, but don't worry if you can't. You're just going to hold on to your ankle or anywhere along your leg. And we're taking the back arm and bringing it up and over down towards that toe. Breathe. And then sitting up and coming back to center. Let's swap to the other side. Coming into a seated tree pose. You're going to hinge from the hips and come forward to a slight fold. And then bring yourself up. We're rotating now and taking the opposite arm of the leg, rotating for a bit, and then taking the back arm up and over down towards that toe. Breathe. And then coming back up to seated, taking the legs out wide, maybe a little bit wider than they were to begin with, but you might be in the same position, so don't worry if your legs haven't extended. Now sitting out wide, trying to sit up nice and tall, have your hands to support on the inside or the outside, wherever it is comfortable. And really flex the feet so you're pointing the toes towards the ceiling. Breathe. Then we'll bring the legs in. Bend the knees slightly, hinge from your hips so your chest meets your thighs. You can reach your feet, hold on to the underside of your feet, and then round your chin towards your chest into a forward fold. You're going to slightly nod your head. Just a gentle movement where your skull meets your spine. That is where we're trying to move. And we'll come up to seated and bring the heels in together. Holding on to just above the ankles, really a strong pose in a bound cobbler. Let's sit up tall. You're going to pull. So you're holding on just above your ankles. You're going to pull with your forearms, sitting up tall, bring the rib cage back, and then we're going to bring the knees down towards the mat. So you're opening up through your feet. Really strong pose, pulling in. Breathe. And then relax a bit. So you're going to pull again. You're going to take your knees down to the mat. Pull with the forearms. Breathe. And then we'll come up and lie onto our side. You want to lie on your side wherever it's comfortable, so that either have your arm is propping your head, or if you prefer, you can lie down on your arm, or if you prefer to be like that, it doesn't really matter. You need to be comfortable. We're going to take the knees together like so, and so your ankles are together behind you. And we're going to open up into Clam Pose and take ourselves down. You can have your hand resting anywhere that's comfortable. Now let you into a secret. I don't do this pose because I frigging hate it. But what they say about poses is the ones that you hate are normally the ones you should do a little bit more of. And this is a really good for strengthening the top of the hip. So go slowly with it and only do a few if it's really uncomfortable. And you can always work up to more. So we're only going to do a few more of these. And then rest the leg. We're then going to extend the leg out, flexing the foot. And you're just going to tap it down and lift it up. Tap it down and lift it up. Tap it down and lift it up. And then bring the knee into your chest and hug. You're going to hold on to your toe. So you've got your knee right into your chest, and then we're going to extend that leg. So if it's not as flexible, then you might want to hold back onto the thigh and just extend your leg wherever that goes. So maybe it's down here, that's okay. Maybe you can get it up a bit higher. Perhaps you can reach your toe. Maybe you can reach your toe with your knee bent, or you've got your leg slightly in front, but you're trying to extend that leg as much as you can. Breathe. And then we're going to swap to the other side. So swivel all the way over. Propping yourself up so you're comfortable. Your knees are together, bent, your ankles behind you. And we're going to come into that clam, lifting the knees up. Doing a few of these. Can't believe how blue that sky is. So lovely. Do a few more. And then we're going to extend the leg, flexing the foot, and you're touching it down and lifting it up. Touch down and lift up. A few more of those. And then we'll bring that knee into your chest. So you're hugging in the knee. If you can hold on to your foot here, do so. Otherwise, you just hold on to the thigh or anywhere along the shin or the leg that you can reach. We're going to extend that leg. You might be somewhere down here or even like this. That's completely okay. If you can reach your toes, do so. Breathe. And then we'll bring that leg down and we're going to roll onto our backs. Hug the knees into your chest. Taking the arms at shoulder height. Stacking the knees, and we'll rotate down to one side. And we're going to hover. We're just going to hover for a moment. Breathing. And then lifting up. And we'll come through to the other side and hover. And we'll have to move on the sofa. Not quite as much room. And hover, and then lifting up and to the other side, and hover, and up and to the other side, and hover. And then this time we're going to take our knees down to the other side, and they're going to rest. So your knees and ankles are resting. And if it's comfortable, look away to the other side. And you can probably hear my stomach rumbling. I apologise for that. Keep breathing, perhaps rest your eyes. And then lift up and over to the other side. And rest the knees down and the ankles. And then if you want, look over the opposite shoulder. Let's take the knees back to the centre. Soles of the feet to the floor and let the knees fall out into reclined cobbler with the palms facing up, closing the eyes and rest. Bringing the knees together and then gently rock the knees from side to side. Extend one leg along the mat and draw a knee into your chest. You can hold on top of the knee or underneath the thigh, whichever is more comfortable. And then swap to the other side, bring the knee to the chest holding underneath the thigh or on top of the knee, whichever is more comfortable. Bring both knees in and then extend both legs towards the ceiling. You can hold on behind the thighs, and we'll just stay with our raised legs for a moment. Just stay here for a few more minutes. And then bring the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. And then put on something warm as we get ready for relaxation. So grab a blanket or a jumper or put some socks on and then come back down into the mat and lie down. I'm going to do this seated, but you can, if you want to, do it seated, especially if you have a cough or anything. Sometimes it's more comfortable, or you can just lie down onto your mat with a blanket, a cushion beneath your head if you need one. Okay, so if we're settled onto the mat, allow your shoulders to relax, closing the eyes. And just allow yourself to feel the floor beneath you. So you're aware of your body's connection with the floor. You can have your knees bent if that's more comfortable. And you're starting, allow yourself to sink down onto the mat. You want to feel as if you're getting yourself comfortable. Imagining it's like your bed, so it's a little bit softer beneath you. And you can really tap into your brain to do this. Your brain can make anything feel comfortable if it wants to. So you just got to concentrate onto your breath and think about relaxing through all of the joints, wrists, elbows, shoulders, all along the spine to the hips, knees and ankles. Eyes are softly closed and the breath is even. Breathing in and out of the nose. And noticing first of all your feet, nothing but your feet. Think about your toes and your heels. And think of them resting as you move into your ankles. From your ankles up through to the knees. From your knees to the hips. From your hips through the waist to your belly. And we're going to stop here at the belly, and that's where you concentrate on your breath, noticing the rise and fall. And you start to tap into that movement and that sensation. Noticing the breath as it comes in and out of the body. Moving your attention to your hips, pelvic area, really relaxing the pelvis. And that way in turn the back rests and both legs rest a little bit more. As we come up through the spine to the shoulders. And we're focusing on just our left arm to begin with, starting at the left shoulder. As we move down the left arm to the left elbow. From the left elbow to the left wrist. Noticing the left palm of the hand. Let's start at the left thumb. Left forefinger. Left middle finger. The ring finger. And the left small finger. So notice all of the fingers. The palm of the hand and wrist. Coming from the wrist to the elbow and back up to the left shoulder. And now completely rest your left arm. And the whole of your left arm is rested as you take your attention now to your right shoulder. Moving down the right shoulder to the right elbow to the right wrist, the right palm of the hand. We're noticing the right thumb, right forefinger, right middle finger, right ring finger, and right small finger. Noticing as you rest from the wrist to the right elbow and the right shoulder. Now the right arm is completely rested. Resting across the shoulders to the neck, the back of the head heavy on the mat, and the eyes softly closed. Think about all of the hair follicles now, from the nape of the neck, all the way up right to your brow and your hairline at the brow. Think of the hair follicles releasing and relaxing, and the brow smoothing out. The eyes are softly closed as you move along the bridge of the nose and down each side of the cheek to the jawbone, along the jawbone to the chin. Perhaps you need to lick your lips or swallow. Let's bring our attention now to the breath. And with the body fully relaxed, we're taking time to notice the breath. You want to concentrate on that sound. Perhaps just the sensation. Bring yourself towards your body. From time to time, you may become distracted by outside noises. And that's okay. You just pause and you take time to come back within. So you're trying to guide yourself within your body, back to your heart center. Perhaps you can feel the heartbeat. Back to the breath, gentle rise and fall of your belly, perhaps the air in your nostrils. And then bring your attention back into the room. Just allow yourself to sit there for a moment, absorbing all the sounds around you, bringing your attention back into your room and placing everything around you. And then very slowly coming back up to seated. Sitting up tall, taking the hands to the knees, maybe the fingers in Jnana Mudra with forefinger and thumb. And as you inhale, taking the breath down to the base of the spine, and exhale to the skull and release. Let's inhale down to the base of the spine and exhale to the skull. Rotate the palms to heart center. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me.